Hi, my name is Carl Torsbens. I'm a retired deputy warden out of the Arizona Department of Corrections and the New Mexico Department of Corrections. I recently retired from 25 years in the corrections business, and this video is titled How to Become a Better Correctional Supervisor. Just some basic hints and tips on how to become a better leader in the setting that is so dangerous and so easily forgotten by the public. So bear with me as we go through this journey of awareness and becoming a better supervisor inside the most dangerous place. As in any other business, there's a need for supervisors to help and guide subordinates and employees along the way of doing their job and attaining their excellence wherever necessary according to the policies and procedures that are in place. So supervisors play an important role in getting the job done. We have first-line supervisors, mid-line supervisors, and of course then we have the upper level where we're getting into the captains and majors that are purely administrative in most places now. Although in the old days you would find a captain walk the shift and talk to his or her people on a daily basis, knowing what's going on. So times have changed. Supervisors now are consistently mostly of first level and mid-level sergeants and lieutenants. They carry a heavy burden and they have a heavy responsibility, so it's important that we help guide you stay on the road of good leadership and good supervisory skills. So like I said, in any business, especially law enforcement, supervisory oversight is very, very important. The very first quality that I want to put out there is that supervisors must be self-confident, they must be skilled, they must be knowledgeable, and they must know their limitations. Very important that they understand what they can and cannot do so that they can proceed and ask for assistance where it's appropriate. They need to project professionalism, integrity, ethical conduct at all times, truthfulness, compassion, and be the ability to be a mentor, a teacher. A leader leads by example. A supervisor follows policy and procedures, customs and traditions and guidelines as they are ordered by their superiors. And sometimes this causes a catch-22, but a good supervisor knows how to explain their position to their people, why things are being done a certain way. Try to stay away from using too much tacit approval, as it eventually will change or alter the policy and procedures as written. A good supervisor knows their limitations and what they can adapt to and what they need to stick to. They need to admit to their subordinates when they make a mistake. Maybe not in public and maybe not right away after it happens, but they need to be humble and they need to be understanding that when they make a mistake, it's good to share the insights that are related to such a thing. Supervisors delegate and empower people to do jobs. Remember, with this concept of empowering and delegating tasks and duties, that it doesn't take away the responsibility that you have for getting it done. So don't misunderstand empowering and delegating that you are being relieved of your responsibility, because it's just the opposite. It's your responsibility how you delegate and how you empower your people so that the job gets done and gets done the right way. Make sure you follow through. A lot of supervisors don't follow through. Whenever you assign a job, find a means to follow through. Use your span of control effectively. You know what your span of control is. It's an invisible line that shows how many people are under your command, how many people are under your supervision. And when your span of control gets bigger and bigger, that's when you start using your powers of empowerment and delegation so that the communications remains intact and it's effective and it's the way you want it to be. So your span of control is very important. And once your span of control exceeds your ability to supervise each individual, there's a need to express that to those that supervise you. Be in actual practice. In other words, don't just say what you want done. Show them through role modeling, through your previous experience as a subordinate, that you have done this job that you're asking them to do. So don't put yourself above others and ask them to do something that you wouldn't want done yourself. Remember that a good supervisor listens to their subordinates and encourages them to do well and to excel. When you have a subordinate or an officer come to you and have a suggestion, listen to them. Explain, reason, be rational. And if you agree, tell them why you agree. If you disagree, tell them why you disagree. But make it a good, solid, two-way conversation so that the subordinate understands exactly what you're using as your deciding factor. Okay? Good supervisors are not desk jockeys. Good supervisors remain active and are not lazy. When they're on shift, good supervisors get out and about. They get their paperwork done in the beginning, and I know a lot more paperwork's been put on supervisors now than ever before. They expect you to get it done, but that's no excuse for getting tied down to a computer and not out of the office. Get out of the office. Walk and talk with your people. Understand them. Call them by their name. Let them know they're important. Because if you don't take the time to know your people, you won't know what's going on out there. It's one of those things where cause and effect. If you cause certain things to go one way, you can expect it to go the way that you designed it to go. So keep it on a positive level. And remember that the primary duty of a supervisor is to keep your staff safe, to make sure that all the equipment that is in place is in working condition, and that if they need to be replaced, replace them. Remember that once you've taken care of your people, then you've taken care of public safety, and you've taken care of the safety of the inmates. So it's a two-way street, or a three-way street in this case. Public safety, staff safety, inmate safety. Good supervisors know their area of responsibility. They know what needs to be done on their shift. They need to know whether the housing areas are clean, whether the booking desk needs any help or is having difficulties with the intakes. Make sure that they have all the available restraints available, that officers are working under safe conditions, and that their radios are working, batteries are available. Just the list goes on and on, but a good supervisor knows and documents and details what's going on and what they need, and keep officers safe. Remember, paramount to everything else, public safety, staff safety, inmate safety. To be a good supervisor, you had to be a good subordinate. They work hand in hand. It's not just one of those things where you can hire somebody off the street and make them a supervisor. A good supervisor will come up through the ranks and learn every detail of the job description that they've taken, in the sense of having done themselves. A good supervisor leads by example. Again, not expecting others to do what they wouldn't do themselves. Remember, they are mentors and they are teachers. They encourage others to improve and excel in whatever they're assigned to do. Remember that as a supervisor, there is discipline involved. Remember the phrase, in discipline, that's very important. Mistake versus misconduct. As a supervisor, you've got to know the difference between a mistake and misconduct. Well, if it's a mistake, treat it as a mistake. If it's misconduct, treat it fairly. Don't blow it out of proportion. Don't let your personal feelings get involved in whether or not this employee is a good employee, a bad employee. Focus on the act, not on the person. A good supervisor will praise their staff, pat them on the back, although it's seldom. It doesn't have to be a pat on the back per se. It could be a kind word, even if you just pass them, letting them know they did a good job. Outline of a good supervisor, 13 points. They have to be honest, hardworking, they have to have leadership capabilities, they have to be determined, they have to be a motivator, they have to have good character, they have to be self-disciplined, they have to be respectful, they have to have perseverance, because not everything happens overnight. They have to be reasonable, they have to be professional, and they have to be self-confident. Supervisors must have those 13 points in order to be a good or great supervisor. Supervisors must take the time to build professional relationships with their subordinates. I know that people are going to say, well, relationships are bad in the workplace. I said professional. Try to keep your personal relationships a minimum. They're going to happen, but keep them at a minimum because they influence your decision making and can create unfair and discriminatory practices without you even realizing it. Remember, you must foster trust, and trust is a two-way street, just like respect. You have to earn trust, you have to earn respect. Some people will argue this with you, but the longer you're in the corrections business, you know what I'm talking about. If this is done, and you have mutual respect, and you have mutual trust, there are no barriers that you can't overcome. The supervisor must be obligated. They must be compelled. They must be in no other way feel that they have to protect the people that work for them. They have to be a team, they have to be solid, and they have to take care of each other. And if you do this, you will maximize their productivity, you will maximize their trust, and you will maximize their respect. Thank you. I hope this video was informative.